Several of the questions that have come our way have to do with worship, including this first one. Why is it that we only have worship on Sunday morning? In other words, why not Sunday evening? Why not Wednesday nights like some other churches do? Well, that's a great question. When you go back and you look at the history of our particular church, you'll find that there were many times along the way that the church regularly had Sunday evening Vespers services or Wednesday evening prayer services. There comes a time in the life of the church that decisions are made based on the inclinations of people. Sometimes programs come and go. Sometimes worshiping schedules come and go. Now, Sunday is the Lord's Day. Back in the days of the early church, those first Christians realized that there was something special about gathering for worship on Sundays, because Jesus is the Lord of the Sabbath who rose from the dead on Easter Sunday. Therefore, every Sunday from now on is a little Easter. So we'll continue to have worship on Sundays. There's something special about 11 o'clock. There isn't anything biblical about 11 a.m. in the morning. It has to do with our farming agrarian culture. Halfway during the day, people would get up, do their morning chores, have a break, go to worship, eat lunch together as a family, and then get back to it with those afternoon chores. Yes, even on the Sabbath day, there were chores to be done. Times have changed, and we perhaps need to continue to think about what would be another time that we can gather for worship. We have 8:30 in the morning and 11 a.m. What would it look like to have another worship service at another time of day? On another day? Maybe it wouldn't even meet in the sanctuary. I think these are some of the things we can continue to think about and ponder as we step into the future as the church. Next question. What's with that light on the back wall of the sanctuary? Just to make sure we're clear, we're talking about this. Let me offer two responses. The first one brief, the second one a little bit more involved. Very briefly, that light actually helps the worshiper from home see the person who is speaking from either the lectern or from the pulpit. Now, a little bit more involved of a response. We have a beautiful sanctuary designed for worshiping in person. It was never designed to be a film studio. The architecture is beautiful. The paint colors are beautiful. When you're in person, you can especially appreciate it. But there's something about the lighting in that sanctuary. Now, as you know, we have clear glass on either side of the nave that brings in beautiful natural light. Again, when you're worshiping in person on a Sunday morning, it's gorgeous and we all love it and appreciate it. But so much light is coming into that space, so much light between physically where the camera is located and the person speaking from either the lectern or the pulpit. That's one issue. Another issue is the camera has a way of focusing on the parament on the front of either the lectern or the pulpit, which means the person who is about 18 inches behind is just a little bit fuzzy. There's something about the person speaking being washed out. Now, we noticed this well over a year ago when we were first experimenting with worshiping online. And then during the blessed season of Advent, when we had those beautiful chrismon trees placed where they're always placed in the chancel, we noticed that having that color and that variation in the background helped see the person who is speaking in the foreground. And this is actually basic videography 101. We're learning a lot over this past year. And so we have these lights in the background, kind of like what I have over my back shoulder right now. It's different, isn't it? It's a way, though, to help make the worship in the sanctuary more accessible through the video. It's a way to connect with other people. It's a way to reach out. And so as you see that light, I hope that you can just allow it to literally fade into the background as you focus upon what God is saying to you in that worshiping moment. Next question. How do you pick the hymns for worship? It's very simple. It depends on the scripture for the day and related theological themes. Remember, a hymn is primarily a text. It's poetry. It's sung to a tune. Sometimes you know the tune, sometimes it's a new one. Most of the hymns that we sing are from the United Methodist hymnal. But of course, some of the hymns are new hymns. Did you know that there are hymn writers alive today? That's their job, writing new hymns, fresh expressions of our faith, sung to tunes that are already familiar to us. If you were to do an analysis of the hymnody of First United Methodist Church, here's what I think you'll find over the past several months, over the past several years, I would even say over the past few decades. Most of our hymns, of course, come from the United Methodist hymnal. Some are newer hymns coming from other sources. A lot of our hymns come from, of course, Charles Wesley, who was the brother of John Wesley. Together, they were leading the Methodist movement as it was a renewal effort within the Church of England. As these Methodists were growing in their faith, they were singing their faith. And that's very much a part of our faith heritage. And so you can open your hymnal, and when we're singing one of those hymns, you could look down and see who the composer is of either the words or the tune. And you'll often find Charles Wesley's name there. It's a part of our faith. It's who we are as Methodists. We are blessed to sing our faith. And I pray that these hymns, whether they are familiar ones that remind you of a time long ago, or whether they are new ones that might even challenge you, I hope that they bless you in our worship together. Last question for now. What does the church offer for men to grow in their faith? We have the men's prayer breakfast that meets on the second and fourth Thursdays of each month at Hendrick's Barbecue on West Ennis Street, 7 a.m. in the morning. It's a great time of fellowship and prayer together. Now, it may not technically be the United Methodist men organized like there might be in other United Methodist churches. It's not as strong and robust as the United Methodist women, but it's a great time, and you fellas, you're invited to be there. I'm interested in more opportunities for men to get together, to open up, build relationships, talk openly, honestly about struggles, and to connect together as men. If you're interested in more opportunities like that, let me know, because I think this is one of the ways that our church can grow into the future. Well, I'm running out of Cheerwine. It's going to be time for me to go now. But before I sign off, let me just quickly say what a blessing it is to serve as your pastor. October is Pastor Appreciation Month, and in worship, it was such a treat to hear those kind words from Brenda Laughlin, to receive the cards in the mail, and to receive so many signs of encouragement and support from you. Please know how grateful I am. It is a blessing to serve as your pastor. And I pray that God will continue to bless you and our church. See you next time on Cheerwine Chat.